pretty annoyed because this is the fourth time I've had to film this voiceover bit, but I just wanted to preface this video with three things. First of all, I know this is an incredible still shot of me. Second of all, my hair was a mess throughout this entire video. I knew, I just didn't want to fix it. Third of all, the air conditioning was on throughout this entire video, just like it's on right now, so you can probably hear it. We were in a heat wave in New York City. It's over 100 degrees. There was no way I was going to shut the air conditioning off during filming. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy the video.
Hey guys, so for today's video I wanted to kind of just play around with makeup. We are in the middle of a heat wave in New York City, so I've just been staying home playing with my makeup, and I had it in mind today to do a pink monochromatic look. I'm going to be using the ColourPop Ooh La La palette, but I just wanted to record a little bit of makeup playtime. I also have a pigment from ColourPop that I want to play with, so I don't know what this look is going to be. I just wanted to play around with some makeup today, and I wanted to take you guys along with me. So I'm going to start off with highlighting my brow bone from the shade Tickled right here in the Ooh La La palette. It's a really, really pretty, like, icy pink sparkly color with little like holographic glitters all throughout it. It's absolutely stunning, like so intense. As you can see, today is not going to be a cut crease kind of day, although when I work with pigments I usually like accidentally do a cut crease, but whatever, we'll see where we're going. So I'm going to go back into the palette, and I'm actually going to pick up the shade Poodle right there and just put that all in my crease area. I just realized I had blue on this brush from yesterday, so I hope this does not turn purple. It's turning a little purpley. I feel like this eye looks slightly more purple than this eye, so I'm just going to try to patch that pink color on the lid, well, in the crease, just see if it makes a difference. I feel like packing the color into the crease area did help a bit. Now I'm going to look for a brush that doesn't have any blue on it, so we don't make that same mistake again. Alright, so I got this Wet n Wild brush, and I think from there I'm going to go into the shade Sandbar right here, and just going to put that a little bit lower into the crease so I can like really make this pink pop. Because right now, I feel like for me, like the undertone of purple is not what I was looking for, but that was my own dumbass mistake. So that definitely brought the pink back into the look like I wanted. I always have a really hard time like blending in the inner corners right here. Like whenever I try to blend, it just skips because that's just how my eyelids are. So I'm gonna try, I always try to like spend as much time blending as possible, but at the same time, I don't really care all that much. And then from there, I want to deepen things up a little bit before I go in with the pigment, but I don't know if I want to use Trove right here or Caddy, because I feel like either one of those would be a little bit too purple, and I don't want it to be a purple look. I think I'm going to dip into a little bit of Trove, because Trove has more pink than Caddy. Caddy is just like straight up purple. So I am putting that on the outer corner just to deepen things up a little bit. I want it to look like a very like blown out, like kind of smoked out pink look. So I like it the way it is, but I want a little something to add dimension to the look. Okay, sorry if the camera angle is a little bit different. I literally forgot to get lashes for my collection, so I had to get up and do that. So anyway, the next step is I'm going to be putting this pigment on my lids. This is the shade The Twins. It looks like it's a really like pinky, bronzy gold pigment. I suck at describing things, but you know what? It is what it is. So how I apply my pigment. So I picked out a long brush. Okay, so I use the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH41. I do not suggest most of Morphe brushes, if I'm being honest, but I have this brush, so it's what I use. So you guys know that I usually like to use glitter glue for my lid shades, but I am not doing that with pigments. Usually with pigments, I will just wet them. You can use a glitter glue with pigments. I just prefer to use them wet because I think the finish is a lot more metallic that way. So I'm going to go in. And my brush is like doused in the pigment. And I'm just going to spray the brush with a few sprays of my Mario Badescu Rose Water. And we're just gonna put that right on the lid. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness. And this is kind of what I mean by saying I always like end up like kind of cutting the crease with my pigments because of the way this brush is. I always end up with a cut crease kind of effect anyway. And the cool thing about wetting pigments is that they're not pressed. So like when you wet, I don't wet my pressed shadows because when you wet a pressed shadow, that can create hard pan and kind of like ruin the shadow. Again, I'm gonna dip back into the pigment. I took a whole lot. Jesus, okay. I took a lot. And again, just 2 to 3 spritzes of the rose water. And I'm gonna put that on my lid again. I kind of had to go off camera for a bit to try and even stuff out. So anyway, now that the lid is done, I know the shadow like looks kind of messy. We're gonna clean it up in a minute. Don't worry about it. We're actually gonna clean it up right now. I'm going to use my LA Girl color corrector, which I don't use as a color corrector anymore if you saw my Instagram stories. So I'm just gonna use this to clean up the edges of the eyeshadow. So I'm just gonna like kind of cut the shadow, I guess you could say, right there. And then from there I will use my Ulta sponge and blend it out. Okay, so I am now going to hop off camera for a bit and do my mascara, lashes, foundation, stuff like that, because I really just want to show you guys like the color products that I'm using. So I'm gonna get those steps out of the way and I will be right back in a few minutes, but for you guys it'll be literally a second. Alright, so I did my foundation, concealer, cream, bronzer, and contour. Now I'm gonna do cream blush. So for this I'm gonna use the ColourPop blush stick. This one is in the shade Pretty Thing. It's a really, really beautiful pink blush. So I have tried applying this with my fingers, tried applying it like directly to my skin and blending it out. The way that I like it best is applying it to my sponge and then applying it like to my face. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm rubbing it all over my sponge and then I'm just going to dab it on to my cheeks. I got the best results doing it that way. The first time I tried it, I just swiped it directly onto my skin and tried to blend it that way, and it picked up some of my foundation and concealer and stuff like that, which was not a good time. But when you dab it on with a sponge, it just looks so beautiful and natural. So that is my preferred method of applying it. For liquid highlight, I pretty much do the exact same thing. I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Hello Halo liquid highlighter in the shade Gilded Glow. And again, I put it directly on to my sponge like so. And then I just dab it right on to my skin. Now, I did already put concealer on and I set the concealer, so I'm trying to be careful to not apply it over where I powdered, because then it will start to look a little bit patchy and unblended. From there, I am going to do a light dusting of powder all over the skin. I'm going to use our Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder. And I'm just going to stamp that right into the skin so I can go over it with my powder highlighter. Because this foundation that I used, which is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, it does dry down by itself, but I don't like to apply powder products on top of like any kind of sticky liquid base. So there we go. For highlighters, I'm actually going to mix 2 powder highlighters today, because one of the highlighters I'm going to use is pretty intense on my skin, and I kind of want to mellow it out a little bit with the highlighter that I would normally use. So my initial highlighter that I'm going to use kind of as a base is going to be the Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade Water Brat. Straight up metallic pink. So I figured it would be perfect for this look. This highlighter is actually what gave me the idea for this look. And I only really use this highlighter when I use a pink blush, so I can kind of mesh it in with the blush. because this is kind of dark to be a straight up highlighter on my skin. So that's how I use it. So pretty. The lighting isn't great, so I can't really see it shine like it does, but I know it's a beautiful highlighter. What I'm gonna do before I put down my second, well, technically my third layer of highlight, because I put on a liquid Fenty and I'm gonna put on like a usual highlighter that I wear. I'm gonna just spritz my face with the Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray, just so the highlighter I put on top can really pop, and also just to melt everything into the skin. I usually use setting sprays to melt the powders into my skin, and we didn't use too many powders today, but still, it's summer, it's hot as fuck outside, so I'm going to use setting spray. So while that all settles in, I'm going to do my lips. For my lips, I'm going to take my ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Hard On and the the matte lipstick in the shade Maxed Out. This is going to be a beautiful combination. I cannot wait. So we're going to overline my lips just a little bit. I always overline. This is my first time using this lip liner shade, but my god, this lip liner, all ColourPop lip liners are so good. So I'm going to go in with the matte lipstick again in the shade Maxed Out. Alright, so now that my lips are done and the setting spray has kind of settled in a little bit, I'm going to add a little bit of my Artist Couture Illuminati highlighter right on top of where I put the Fenty. This might be extra, but I am extra. Who cares? So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. Not too much because I don't want to look too much like a disco ball. Guys, I literally just filmed an outro and did not realize I am not done with the look yet because I have not even finished the eyes. So, inner corner highlight and lower lash line is missing. So I'm going to go in with the shade Tickled again from the Ooh La La palette right there and plop that on my inner corners. Such a beautiful, I'm obsessed with that color from this palette. Oh my goodness. So pretty. Then from there, I will probably just take the shade Poodle right there and run that on my lower lash line. Oh my god, I didn't even do lower lash line mascara. Floralisa, what were you thinking? Alright, so I figured I would move to a place where the lighting was a little bit better. It's kind of hard to do my makeup right in this area, so that's why the lighting was so bad earlier in the video. But this is the completed look. I really love how it came out. Thank you guys so much for watching. As for my next video, I don't know what it's going to be, but I think I want to do a video on how I've been doing my base routine for summer. So I think that's coming next. Anyway, I will see you guys when I see you. Bye.